Hello pumpkins! So after doing a video on what it's like living with a chronic illness, I thought this kind of video was long overdue. Today I want to explain to you a bit more what IBD actually is. IBD stands for Inflammatory Bowel Disease and is an umbrella term for a number of different diseases, the most prominent of which are Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Because I have ulcerative colitis and obviously know a bit more about that, I will probably discuss that in a bit more detail in this video, but I'm trying to give you an overview of everything in IBD in general. IBD is an autoimmune disorder, which essentially means that the immune system doesn't recognize certain body parts and thinks they're foreign, and so attacks them. Crohn's disease can occur in all places of the digestive tract, so basically from the esophagus to the rectum, but usually in patches, so with parts of healthy gut in between, and can affect the inner lining of the bowel as well as deeper sections of the bowel wall. Ulcerative colitis, as the name suggests, is restricted to the colon or large intestine and only affects the inner stomach lining. It usually begins in the rectum and only affects part of the colon, but there's also the so-called pancolitis where the whole colon is affected. That's what I got. The symptoms differ for each patient, but they are fairly similar for both Crohn's and colitis, including but not limited to abdominal pain, diarrhea, blood in the stool, fatigue, anemia, weight loss, nausea, and things like that. IBD is a chronic condition and as such will usually stay with the afflicted for the rest of their lives. While there are certain trigger foods that may worsen the condition, adhering to a specific diet will not cure or fix IBD. We do have a chance of remission, which means we could live relatively symptom-free, but that doesn't mean that the illness is actually gone. It's simply dormant and could theoretically flare up at any time. We have options of medication to manage the symptoms and hopefully achieve a lasting remission. I won't go into too much detail on those right now because I want to make a standalone video on that topic, but the three main types of medication there are for IBD are anti-inflammatories, steroids, and immunosuppressants. I myself am currently on anti-inflammatories, have been on steroids, and there is a chance that I might have to go on immunosuppressants sometime soon. If symptoms are really bad and consistent and remission seems virtually impossible, there's also the chance of surgery, usually a colostomy, which takes out part of the colon. The cause for this whole shebang is as of yet still unknown. The current research states that it's probably a combination of different factors such as a genetic predisposition, an abnormal reaction to bacteria in the gut, and an unknown trigger factor, which may include viruses, other bacteria, diet, stress or personal trauma, or something else in the environment. There are several ways to achieve a diagnosis, such as blood and stool samples, x-rays, and endoscopies. When I went to the hospital to get diagnosed, they did the blood and stool thing, as well as an ultrasound and a coloscopy, which is an examination of the colon with a colonoscope. Yes, that's a tiny camera, that's exactly what it sounds like. I'll be honest, the coloscopy was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life, because they basically shove a tiny camera up your butt. I could have made that sound a lot less threatening, I'm sorry. You have to completely void your bowels by drinking 3 goddamn liters of the most disgusting, vile liquid I have ever tasted. It smells like vanilla and almost tastes like really, really salty water, only way worse. Towards the end I was allowed to dilute it the tiniest bit with apple juice, which only helped in the way that I couldn't look at apple juice for the next 6 months. It was all over in a flash though, and towards the end I had the happy diagnosis of being a chronically ill person for the rest of my life. Yay! If you're newly diagnosed and think you might have IBD, I hope this video was helpful and didn't just scare you shitless. And if you were just interested in hearing about IBD, thank you for watching, and please be nice to us because it's not always easy living with this shit. Alright, that was it. Stay tuned for more of this series, and I will see you next time. Until then, take care.